Hello YouTube, De-bodgery here, aka Richard Gumfaw on Facebook. Welcome to the EV Components Review channel. Do other things too, but a lot of EV related stuff, teardowns and things. This is an EBMX, obviously, X-9000 controller. I'm just going to say right up front, I knew that this was going to be really nice before I ever got it. Just looking at the boards inside, in pictures, I knew, okay, those guys know what they're doing. They're making something that's good quality in it. And now that it's in my hands, yeah, this has got nice heft to it. It's solid. It's beefy. There is nothing to complain about with this build quality because it's really good. Yeah, a lot of this weight, and it weighs 3 kilograms, is because of all the copper inside here and the ridiculously good heatsink that's on here. This is a really good heatsink. Copper is heavy, big chunk of aluminum, that's heavy, and that's a big reason why this is so good. Just the power stage and the heatsink alone in this thing weighs more, or I'm sorry, weighs slightly less than the entire competing controller from you-know-who down the road that it's got Moto in their name. Anyway, build quality here is really good. Do not concern yourself with anything about build quality here because this is really awesome. All right, so I want to point out a little detail. So you see this right here, the silicone on there. That gets a cover on it, and I don't have the cover. Remember, this is a pre-production unit, and those little covers weren't ready yet, so I don't have it. I don't know what that really looks like yet, but as far as I know, otherwise this is pretty close to the final product. These holes right here, they use those for pouring potting in, but it's all sealed up inside there. They're just simply covers over those holes. But yeah, there's potting inside here. It's completely waterproof. Yeah, you can immerse this in a bucket and nothing will happen. It's going to be nice in that regard. Yeah, completely waterproof, and that's a good thing. And also the potting inside means that doesn't hurt anything because it's all very tied together. This has a very high shock load because it's all potted, and that's a good thing. These screws, as you can see, they all have hex heads in them, Allen heads. Feel free to tighten those buggers up. The copper studs that they go into are really well supported. You will be hard pressed to tear them out. Can you do it? Sure, but you don't need to crank on them that much. But there is no specifications on you tightening these things down because they're going to hold. Unlike some competing products which have narrow brass standoffs, which only have solder supporting the bottoms of them. And they come with Phillips head screws so that you'll probably cam out the screw head before you over crank the things and tear off the solder on the bottom. These are very resilient. This is built really nicely. Attention to detail here is excellent. You will probably never have problems with this. No need to put thread locker on the screws to make sure they don't come loose. Just tighten them up. That's it. That's all you got to do. And that's better anyway because thread locker, by the way, is non-conductive and you want the best possible current path you can get all your screw terminals. And by the way, that's all copper in there. I realize you can see silver on there, but that's plated. That's so that the copper doesn't oxidize. But all of the posts in here, all the buses inside, all that stuff is solid copper that's been plated. So a lot of this heft is because copper is heavy, and that's a good thing. You want this. The build quality here is really good. All right, so let's talk about the stuff that comes with it. So obviously there's these 4 cables. Oops, there's another one. And they are all different, so you can't plug one in the wrong place, as you can see. And the 2 big ones, you can see that orange O-ring inside there. So that's a silicone O-ring, so that when this is all clamped together, these make for a pretty watertight connection. These 2 smaller ones here, I forget what this style of connector is called. I'm sure somebody's going to post it in the YouTube comments, but if it was asking me last week, I probably would have known. Anyway, once these are plugged together, this outside portion seals up against the inside shoulder, and again, it makes a pretty good watertight seal, and they don't pull apart very easily either once they're clicked together. In fact, I've put both these together already, and then you have to fight them back apart again. So yeah, it's definitely going to hold pretty well. So you get a couple cables with this thing. Let's just start with that one. Whoops. Don't get ahead of yourself, Richard. So this cable right here, The documentation is coming. I've seen a technical draft of the thing, but yeah, all these colors will be spelled out what they're for. And it only goes in one place, and the connector has got a key in it, so you can't plug it in wrong. And of course, the connectors are also unique. See, like that won't go together. It's got the wrong pin pattern in it, but it will go in here, and they go together very nicely. So that's it. They're together. And then you've got this threaded locking ring on here, and that's now tight, and it's there. You're not pulling that apart. So nice, solid connection that's got an O-ring in it for waterproofing. I use connectors very similar to this on my EV builds, and these usually cost somewhere like from $10 to $25 a piece. So that's a little piece of kit right there. That's not a cheap part that they've added in here. I don't know what they're paying for mass quantities of them, because I only buy them like, say, 5 or 10 at a time. But yeah, they're probably paying a little bit less for them, but still, these aren't cheap connectors. These are expensive connectors. Okay, you also get this cable, and on the technical drawing, it wasn't super clear, but I believe this has to do with motor and something else. But again, that same connector, and yeah, the fit and finish on this stuff is super good. And again, you can see the pin pattern in here, and it's only going to go there. You can't plug it in wrong. And so let me plug that in. And of course, with the keys on there and the little arrows on the connectors, it's pretty hard to mess it up. But yeah, they go together nice and easy, and lock the ring, thread it together. There we go. And that's not going anywhere. That's good and solid. So yeah, you're not going to be pulling these things loose. These ones here, because it's more of a press fit sort of a thing, you know, it's dependent on this outer sleeve, you know, locking into the sleeve on the connector. These ones you could pull apart, but they're not easy either. So this one right here, this goes to the Bluetooth module, which is external. There it is. So here's your Bluetooth module. I like this a lot, and that's because a lot of times if your controller has the Bluetooth module built into it, now the Bluetooth signal has to get out past all of the noise that might be in there. It's got to go through the metal case on the controller. You know, there's probably wires and things like that. The frame of the bike, all that kind of stuff can possibly interfere with good signal. And with this one, your Bluetooth module is wherever you want to stick it. So, you know, if just shoving it up in some hole is not going to get you good signal, stick it someplace else, zip tie it to the frame, and you probably are good to go. So definitely like this little remote Bluetooth module. And I'm not going to plug it in because that is a bear to get back out again. I've done it once, and that was plenty until I'm ready to mount this thing. But yeah, that plugs into that connector right there. All right, and this one here is completely different pin pattern, and you get this other cable. So this is kind of like your input cable, if you will, but not entirely so. And that connector, of course, plugs into there. And in here, we have two mystery connectors, which I don't know what they do yet. And this one right here is for the LCD, which I'll show you in a minute. And that one is for the throttle. And you get a nice throttle with it. So this is made by Wuxing. This is my all-time favorite thumb throttle that I've ever found, period, bar none. They're really nicely made. They're really good fit and finish. The throw is nice and smooth. I love the fact that they have this little arm on top, so you can just take one screw out, put it over the handlebars, close the little arm on the top, put the screw in, and you're done. You know, most other thumb throttles and things, you know, this is all one piece, and so you have to slide it over the end and take all the other stuff off. You know, giant pain in the neck. Now, Wuxing, they were thinking about what they're doing. Yeah, this is my favorite thumb throttle. These are super nice. You can buy on eBay, Amazon, AliExpress, things like that. They're like $20 or so. It's a really nice thumb throttle. This is, in my opinion, this is the best thumb throttle that's out there. Anyway, yeah, that plugs in right there. Yeah, super nice thumb throttles. I use these ones myself on other EVs. Okay, and then you get this. So this is an Egg Rider LCD. It has firmware in it specific to this controller. I don't know if that makes it VESC compatible with everything else VESC. That might, which would be kind of an interesting experiment. Plug that into VESC and see what happens to any other VESC controller. But yeah, it's a nice little display, and you get a power button on top for turning things on. menu options through these, and again, that connector, and everything is color-coded, by the way. So as you can see, green and green, that plugs in there. So nice feature set, nice extra stuff that comes with the controller, nice build quality, nice heft to it, nice cables. Everything here is really nice, unlike competing products. Even like ASI, they don't give you anything nice like this. And, you know, that's a pretty darn good brand. About the closest thing that I know of to this is like Nuclear, because they give you that nice LCD. But yeah, this is still like another other level better than that. Really pleased with the build quality and the other stuff you get with it, and all the cables and things like that. This is awesome, guys. If you're really wondering, sitting on the fence, or just wondering how good EBMX is, they thought of all the important stuff and they included it, and they did a really good job of implementation with stuff like this. This isn't thrown together. This is a purpose-made cable that is pretty darn nicely made. This is all really expensive connectors. You know, they're not like $100, but yeah, these aren't cheap, these connectors right here. I know, because I use the darn things. Yeah, this is all really nicely built. About the only thing I could say that would be really cool is if this was silicone insulation on the outside rather than nylon, but you know, that's really a very, very, very small gripe, because nylon insulation on stuff is super common. Anyway, everything here, you know, even the throttle, which they didn't have to throw in there, is a really nice thumb throttle. I am very happy with this set of kit. And if you're not, well, I would have to say you need to like expand your horizons, because this is super good.